Yeah, that's good. So,
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Just a reminder again, everybody, can you please mute your mic and just listen to Imam, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala khatamil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, Muhammad khatamil muhajirin. Allahumma thabbit al-muhajirin القابدين على دينهم كالقابدين على الجمر. اللهم اجعلنا من المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات والصابرين والصابرات والخاشعين والخاشعات والمتصدقين والمتصدقات والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With his divine support, we made it to the 10th of Ashura yesterday. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our wish and fulfill our dream, to forgive us for whatever we have done wrong for the last year. And that was the promise of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. If you do fast Ashura, Allah will forgive what you have done for the past year. I will touch what we went through last week because we could not record here. And then the final point will be about what we can do and how to reform ourselves and progress on the playground of progress and development, which is this dunya and our life. If you remember with me, the people of Makkah made a plan, and someone terribly joined them in that meeting. That was Iblis. And what was the plan? The Quran told us what was the plan. وَإِذْ يَمْكُرُ بِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لِيُثْبِتُوكَ أَوْ يَقْتُلُوكَ أَوْ يُخْرِجُوكَ. Behold, when the disbelievers made a plan. And what was the plan? To do one of three things. Decision number one, kick him out of Makkah. Decision number two, lock him down in Makkah, put him in prison forever. And decision number three was to kill him. But then they decided to say, no, don't kick him out of Makkah and don't lock him down, but let kill him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and look at the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made their plan against them. They decided not to kick him out and not to lock him down, but to kill him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed that plan, the killing, and he let the other two happen. What happened? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was told to leave Makkah, so exile. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was told to go into lockdown, 3 days in the cave. So these two, they denied and they decided to choose number three. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the ayah said, وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ, they plotted and they make the conspiracy and the plans, and Allah made his own, and Allah's is the best. This was the beginning of the hijrah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blamed the Muslims 9 years later. And he said to them, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, ma lakum, what is the matter with you? What's wrong with you? إِذَا قِيلَ لَكُمْ انفِرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ ثَاقَلْتُمْ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ. When you are told to use everything you have Nafar in Arabic in the Quran mean to use everything you have. أرضيتم بالحياة الدنيا من الآخرة? Are you so content and happy with the low life now, the life of dunya? You prefer that on the akhirah? فما متاع الحياة الدنيا في الآخرة إلا قليل. How long you are going to live? 10 years? 20? 50? Say 100, and then what? It's still little, isn't it? Compared to the eternal lives you will have in the akhirah. And then he said to them, you need to know that Allah's deen does not need your help. إِلَّا تَنْصُرُوهُ فَقَدْ نَصَرَهُ اللَّهُ. If you don't support this man to do his mission, if you don't use your life to serve the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah already helped Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Do you remember when he was in the cave with his companion? إِذْ يَقُولُ لِصَاحِبِهِ, when he was telling his companion, لا تحزن إن الله معنا. Don't be afraid and don't be sad because Allah is with us. فأنزل الله سكينته عليه. Allah revealed a divine gift to his heart. And what was that? As-sakina, at-tumanina, the tranquility. When you fear, no more. When you worry, no more. When you are afraid, no more. Panic, no more. This is a divine gift Allah will give to people who struggle to serve his deen. And then this is the story of the Hijrah. And he made the plan of the kuffar, كلمة الذين كفروا السفلى. Their plan is down. وكلمة الله هي العليا. And the word of Allah is always the highest, on the pinnacle, on the top. This was the plan of the Hijrah. And then we spoke about the role of the woman in that plan. And the most famous one in the story of the Hijrah is Asma, the daughter of Abu Bakr. She suffered from Abu Jahl, and she did everything possible to support the Hijrah, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and her father. And we said she played the role of Hajar. When Ibrahim put Hajar in a place, nobody lives there, no food, no water. And she asked him, did Allah tell you to do this to us? And he nodded yes. And then she realized, all I can do now is to support my husband morally. So she didn't say, where is the food? Where is the accommodation? Where is the water? Once she knew that, my husband's footsteps are driven by divine order. She saw courage to let the husband go to do the mission. And then her turn to play her role was how to keep my baby alive. And she was running between two hills, Safa and Marwa, which became a deen and faith for any man who says La ilaha illallah, Muhammadan Rasulullah, to run between Safa and Marwa, to remind us what our parents go through in order for us to become who we are today. The struggle of the mother and the struggle of the father in absence. And Allah let her struggle, running between these two hills for 7 times. And after the effort, when the tears of the mother joined the cry of the baby, the heaven moved. And Allah sent his divine support, and the gift came this time, and that was Zamzam, after the effort. Look at the role she played. Asma did the same to support the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. She was cooking the food, telling the people she does not know where they are, and Abu Jahl slapped her in the face, and she didn't mind. On my way to Allah, what happens to me? But I will support the people who work for the deen even if I have to lose my life. That was the role of a woman in the hijrah. And then we said, what about al-akhdhu bil asbab? We know that the Prophet ﷺ was supported by Allah, and he was told in the Quran, Ya ayyuhar rasulu balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. O messenger, convey what is revealed to you from your Lord. And if you don't, you haven't conveyed the message. And then he said to him, Wallahu ya'simuka minan nas. Allah will protect you from men. So don't be afraid. No one can kill you. Do your mission. And whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala employs somebody, he tells them, don't be afraid, I'm with you. With all of this good news, yet the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam hired a non-believer who was trustworthy, who was a human being, Abdullah ibn Urayqid. He was a guide, and he was hired by the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam to show them the safe way out of Makkah to Medina. Look at the quality of human beings. And this man was a foreign aid to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He knew the people of Quraysh said anyone brings Muhammad dead or alive will have 100 camels. But this man will never betray his word. He doesn't believe in Islam, but he remember, I give my word to this man. I will not sell him out. All you need in your life is a good human being who live up to values and principles. And Islam is dealing with this type of people. Yet the Prophet ﷺ hid in the cave for 3 days. Why he did all of this? To tell us, even when you say you rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do the part that Allah told you to do. Do the reasons that will keep you safe. And when you do all of that, then you can say, Tawakkaltu ala Allah. Now I put my trust in Allah. After doing all of this, he said to Abu Bakr, La tahzan inna Allah ma'ana. Don't be sad, don't be afraid, because Allah is with us. He was hiding. Musa alayhi salam had no way to hide, but he told his people, Kalla inna ma'aya rabbi sayahdin. He was visible, no way to go. And Pharaoh is coming with his army. And Musa's disciples were so afraid, but Musa said to them, don't be afraid, Allah is with me. But Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam was hiding, and he said, don't be afraid, Allah is with us. We touched that last week on Friday, and we asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after we took all reasons for safety, he is with us, and this is what we need to discuss about tonight. Who is with you in the hiding place? Our hiding place is our homes now. And if you remember, we said last time, what is the difference between a house and a home? A house is where you are, and a home is where you feel like being and you want to go there. And usually what makes home for you is the person you live with. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was a home for Abu Bakr. And in front of the hopelessness, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was putting hope in Abu Bakr's heart. We need this nowadays. People are afraid, is stuck together at home, and we need, in order to confront hopelessness, we need to talk about hope. Who is with you in the cave? And what also is with you? And if you remember, the Prophet ﷺ, when he said this, Abu Bakr smiled. It means the fear has gone. His worry was, if I die, one man died. But if the Prophet ﷺ dies, a nation died. But with this phrase, La tahzan inna Allah ma'ana, it reminds us, with the Prophet Yunus alayhi salam in the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights, he was in lockdown as well. And when the release came, after he said few words, what did he say? La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. There is no God but you. I glorify you. I did something wrong. I was among the wrongdoers. What was the wrong he did? He left his people because they were not learning, and he left them and he migrated before he was told to migrate. As long we know, every prophet did this migration. But the Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, he left out of anger, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, with this, what happened? When I employ you, you cannot run away until I tell you the job is over. But he disciplined him in a lovely way. How that was? He kept him as an amana in the tummy of the whale, and he inspired to these whales organs. Do not digest this prophet of mine. It is someone I love. I'm just giving him a lesson. It is good sometimes to punish someone who you love in a very gentle and kind way. And after he admitted and he said, oh Allah, I made a mistake, please forgive me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, فَلَوْلَا أَنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُسَبِّحِينَ لَلَبِثَ فِي بَطْنِهِ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. If not because Yunus alayhi salam made tasbih. See the power of tasbih. So when something goes wrong or we are afraid, we have to focus on praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and talking to him so he can let us out of this calamity. That's what the ayah said. If not because he was doing tasbih, the tummy of the whale was going to be his grave until the day of judgment. But when he said, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin, Allah brought the release and he was out and back to his people and they believed. So that is a reformation and self-development in a very difficult place. What we can do to develop ourselves and reform ourselves in this lockdown. First of all, when we are all together, we have to be giving hope to one another, the way the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam gave it to Abu Bakr. Don't think of the trouble or the troublemakers, but think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he is present with us. How to make Allah with us? And if you remember last Friday, I reminded you, never give up saying this. When you're leaving your home, make sure Allah is with you. Say from your depth, from your heart, with no doubt, and say it in full trust, Bismillah, tawakkaltu ala Allah, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And then go out. And when you go out, don't destroy your iman. Because if you say, I believe in Allah, but this but destroyed the iman, it means you don't trust him fully. When we say the dua, we trust him and move. And the place you are going, maybe something wrong can happen there. And if you are afraid, what do you say? أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. Once you say that, is it a jinn, a human being, animal, insect, a virus? They have no access into harming you unless Allah sends them for a mission in your life. Otherwise, no doubt. And then the simply daily dua we say. And what is that one? We teach our kids every day and we open our madrasa class with that. We say every day, Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un fil ardi wala fis sama' wa huwa sami'ul alim. Now, let's go back into the cave where the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was and compare that with the cave where we are in right now, our houses. There's no outside life for us anymore. Our only hope is to create the friendship, the love, the responsibility at home and prove what the Prophet ﷺ said. One way to prove that you are a Muslim, by all means, is when you live up to what he said. Al-Muslimu man salim al-Muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi. If your 5 daily salat and fasting Ramadan and reading the Quran and going to Hajj and paying zakat and saying the Shahada, if that does not cultivate you to become harmless verbally and harmless in action, you are not a Muslim yet. He said we can claim to be a Muslim only when we talk, our words will never hurt anybody. Our actions will never hurt anybody. We need this at home now. We need to pay attention to the family and the blood ties to make sure that I will be a home for my parents. I will be a home for my children. I will be a home for my wife. I will be a home for my husband. A real home is someone we live in. We need this right now under the pandemic, in our lockdown, so that we can reform ourselves and progress in becoming a true Muslim. We have this opportunity. God forbid, if this will take a long time, it means we don't have a country anymore, we don't have a city, we don't have a continent, we don't have a world except the home where we are right now. And our community is the family members. We need one another right now more than ever. And we need to show how good we can be and bring the smile and bring the hope and live up to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha laqitum fi'atan fathbutu wadhkurullaha kathiran la'allakum tuflihun. Oh, you who believe. He's talking again to the believers. Once we don't have the iman, we will suffer the darkness and the torture of this dunya. But with iman, we can make it. Allah is talking to the believers who recognize him and willing to do his will and live up to his words. He said in this ayah, when you confront an enemy, someone who you are afraid of, whatever or whoever, number one mission, fathbutu, remain firm. Don't run away and don't let fear sneak into your heart. Remain firm and calm and do what next? وَاذْكُرُوا kathiran, and remember Allah a lot, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, for sure you will prosper. Live up to these two things. Don't be afraid. And number two, remember Allah a lot. And one way for us to remember Allah a lot in this lockdown, which I can say we can use to reform ourselves. As we know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the nature reformed us. And sins deform us. Schools informs us. Prison reforms us. We're in prison now. And that is the reason why people sometimes are in lockdown, in prison, or arrested. You have a time to think, what did I do wrong? Oh Allah, why have we been arrested? What have we done? And this thought will make us think and have the self-conversation. And the most important conversation in our life is when we talk to ourselves. Sometimes we talk to the whole world, but the only one we don't talk to is to ourselves. In prison, in lockdown, we have this opportunity to ask myself, where did I go wrong? As an individual, or as a family, or as a community, or as a world? And that is the purpose when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I have the healing for you. Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'atkum maw'idhatun min rabbikum wa shifa'un lima fi sudur wa hudan wa rahmatun lil mu'minin. All mankind. Now he's talking to all mankind because we all are sick and we need the healing. We need the remedy. We need the cure. And Allah is guiding us to us. What is that? He said, all mankind surely has come to you admonition, the best words that can touch your heart and make your tears go down. And he said, and make your tears go down. Sorry, yeah. And also it is a cure. We need to know what to do in any circumstance in our lives, especially in the lockdown. And also we need a healing for what is happening in our mind, for what is happening in our heart. The Quran is a healing. قُلْ هُوَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هُدًى وَشِفَاء. Say the Quran for the believers is a guide and also what? A healing and cure. And if we live up to this word now, can you imagine in this lockdown, I'm going to boycott every book, every text, everyone, and live up to the textbook of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this lockdown, I want to make sure if Allah allows us to go out again, we have something better to share with the world. This is a classroom for us. This lockdown could be the best classroom. We become more serious. It happened to Thumama ibn Athal for 3 days in the mosque of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He was locked down with the best people, in the best place, with the best book. In the masjid of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, with the Sahaba, with the Quran. And this lockdown, he was a very sincere student. He was observing, concentrating, and in the end he submitted. And this lockdown reformed him. And he used this lockdown to go through self-development, and he became a Muslim after 3 days lockdown in the best place. So what was with him in the cave? I just asked Brother Elias, so shall I stop or it can be upgraded?
Assalamu alaikum, Abba. Yes, you still have about 3 minutes. 3 minutes,
Okay,
33 seconds. Yes, inshallah.
Okay. Yeah, so I will summarize it there, inshallah. Yeah, I just wanted to say, let us reform ourselves, because prison reform people, lockdown reform people. We are under arrest, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and promise to him to let us out. We will not be that heedless people anymore. And now everybody know what are the hot spots that we will never go to. And we always find out what are the places we never go to, because if we go there, we may get infected and so on. Also tell ourselves, oh Allah, you already made hot spots for us in our day-to-day. We will never go there, the haram places. And people who are infected, when you talk to them, you only hear bad words. When you spend time with them, all you see, bad things. So we learn from this lockdown, when we go out, do not go to the hot spots or the infected people, but we go to the places that Allah wants us to be, and be with the people whenever they talk, they inspire us, and whenever they do, they remind us with Islam. So I will leave it there because the time is finishing again. But just remember, lectures does not really make us good Muslims. Only when we do what Allah said, Iqra, read the Quran twice. Number 1, reading, you read to learn how to read it, and number 2, reading, you read to know. So read to learn and then read to know. The second reading of the Quran, when we live up to the meaning of every ayah, and that is when the Quran becomes a healing and a cure for all the type of diseases we suffer in our life. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم وجعلنا وإياكم من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Jazakallah khair, Imam. Inshallah, this is just an announcement to the community, to everyone's here. Every Friday, 7:30 to 8:15, inshallah, we will have our Imam give us some lectures. Jazakallah khair and Jazakumullah khair to all the participants. Okay, then see you again next Friday, inshallah. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Does anybody want to say anything? Yeah. No. Okay, no problem. Okay, that's all.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.